So I am here with the infamous Captain Extraordinaire, Mr. Peter Merlo.
Thank you, and I'm smiling and laughing under this mask if you can't tell.
Well, you know, we could probably sit here and talk for hours if we wanted to, but we're just going to hit some of the highlights of the last couple of years of our, I'll call it friendship, partnership, adventure. I think we've been through a lot together.
Oh, most definitely. It's amazing how fast it's been and how much it's grown, and just to see the excitement and catch on, it's been fantastic. But you know, there's a part of me that still misses some moments during those 11 days when we were struggling, you know?
Mention how we know each other, and how long have we known each other, and why and how.
Well, we actually met, I don't know, over 10 years ago, and it was through a pickup skate with the Media All-Stars. Saturday and Sunday mornings, I would come, play with yourself, and I remember Liam being a kid on the ice that I actually had to give room to. There was a time, and I want to remind him of that, that I had to give him space. So we just grew a friendship through playing hockey. And then all of a sudden, I hear a little bit of chitter chatter, because the locker room talk is one of the best things ever, a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. But one serious note is you started mentioning this 11 day. And it first started in the locker room on Saturday and Sunday, and I started hearing it, and I think I approached you pretty early on and actually shared a story with you that I never shared with anybody that played hockey with me. Some people wouldn't even know, which is excellent. And I shared that story with you, how Roswell saved my life.
Yeah. Are you willing to share that story right now?
Of course. Back in 2006, I was diagnosed with a pielocystic astrocytoma, which is a benign, thank goodness, after going through a PET scan and analysis, a brain tumor. However, it's a tumor that only exists in children. And basically Roswell said I should be either, as a child, you either remove that tumor or you die. I was basically a walking miracle. I went through a 9.5-hour surgery with Dr. Fenstermaker. Had a very long recovery just because they had to remove my cerebellum to get to the tumor, which is your balance center. So it's kind of like your balance gets rebooted. And you know my balance, how good it was even beforehand. So, you know, you learn how to kind of walk and do everything again. And they told me, they're like, listen, you'll be lucky if you're normal. You'll never play hockey. I was an avid basketball player. They said, you're never going to play those again. But at the time, you're not thinking about that. You just want to be alive. I had 2 young children. You know, it was very upsetting. My wife, the stress that, you know, I don't have to tell you about that sort of stress.
Right.
Well, after a 9.5-hour surgery, I started the recovery. It was found to be benign. And then I went through actually what's called gamma knife radiation, which is another wonderful procedure at Roswell where they can actually radiate a piece of tissue inside where it does the damage until it gets in there. It's actually wonderful. It killed the remainder tumor.
Yep.
And you know, about a year later after my recovery, Dr. Fenstermaker's one of his fellows at Roswell. And this was, to me, unheard of. He looked at me, he heard my wife and I talking about playing hockey. He said, you think you'll ever play hockey again? I gave him, what are you talking about, Willis moment? Like, come on, are you joking with me? I go, is this a possibility? He said, let me talk to Dr. Fenstermaker. He said, you know, he went through 8 months. My wife built an ice rink. I skated in the backyard. She was my observer. He basically gave me the okay to play hockey. And really, in this day and age of risk management, most people say never play again and cover themselves. So it was funny, Mike, I actually felt a little guilty at one point because I said to my friend, should I be this happy to be playing hockey again? I should just be this happy to be alive. He goes, that's your special gift.
Yeah.
So again, hopefully I didn't go on too much. I could go on a lot longer, but hopefully that carries it. So that's the story. And all of a sudden, 2015, end of 16, we started talking, and I'm like, and then when I confided that story in you, I think you knew right away, oh yeah, you have to be part of this. And that's been driving me ever since.
From that day, when we decided that you're going to be part of it, you were, you know, full on, totally committed. You trained hard. Fast forward to June of 2017, you and Drew Case, also cancer survivor, got to have the opening face-off.
Yeah, which was
Which
awesome.
was pretty cool. And one of you scored the last goal, did you not?
Yes, I did.
That's pretty cool. So
No.
you got the last goal of the original game.
Which was actually for me, I never.
That was your only goal, right?
Well, no, someone actually made that comment because of the crowd reaction. I did get a few, but the reaction was great. It was an awesome moment. My family was there. It was just something I would never have an opportunity. It was a blessing to be able to give back to Roswell Park. I always want to know. I talked about giving back. I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to do this. I did the Rise for Roswell every year.
Yep.
This was something I'm like, this is it. And
Yep.
it's been a wonderful experience. And I benefited. I got to train like a professional athlete through Impact and Jason, going through that with you guys.
Yep.
And, you know, I actually continue that to this day. It really gave me a change of life in how I manage my body.
I was talking to another player, I think it was Justin Ehrig, and we were talking about some of the challenges. And one of the things that he said that resonates is the physical part, believe it or not, isn't the most difficult part. At some points, it's the psychological part. And he told me a pretty funny story. I'm going to ask you if it's true. He said that I heard the most deepest, loudest, strongest, primal scream from a human being from Pete Merlo about midway through the game. Do you remember that?
I do. I gave out a couple of those.
So that was, I mean, talk about it if you like, but I know the feeling because it was basically a release, right?
It was a release. In fact, there was moments when you talk about that, and I want to share a story with Justin because I love Justin. I love all the guys. But Justin helped me a lot. Day 4, I find myself crying on the ice. I'm tearing up. I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? These guys already think I'm messed up. I'm not going to tell them this. No, so I go in the locker room after the shift and I hear Justin sitting there. He goes, damn. And Justin shares. He goes, I've been sad lately or feeling depressed. I go, really? You too? And maybe we talked for about a half an hour, shared. It was something that we're all going through, is that day 3-4 syndrome. And it really helped me get through that.
Good.
And then those screams, by the way, it's like a shot of adrenaline. You're giving yourself, I'm releasing endorphins, adrenaline, so I actually felt good after I released a little bit.
Yeah. So fast forward, sadness is gone, celebration, we played the world's longest hockey game. That was pretty cool. And you and most of the other guys have been right along with us.
Oh, yeah.
So you captain a team, you're playing last bit here. Talk about what your team is made of and why it's special today.
Well, our team is made of a lot of players that have played in this community shift and also players we skate with. But the reason behind the team, and we have a lot of engineers in our team, is there's a gentleman named Ken Strell. And he was a big proponent, was a big sponsor of me in the 11 day. He came to see me play. He was excited. Well, Ken was a quiet guy. He didn't know he was battling cancer. And we found out after, we thought he beat it. And before, I have a picture of me and him on my desk with the 18 community shift. 6 months after that, I had a work meeting with him. He passed away, cancer came back, we didn't know. So it really, Mike, it gives you new energy, it resonates. Cancer affects everybody, every which way. And there's been other people since then that I've known that have difficulties. So a guy like Ken, when you see that passion, and we had a son out there, he dropped the puck. He actually afterward hugged me like 10 times, kept thanking me just because he didn't know how. He thought, and then the event itself, when people come, I can't describe it. The energy, the atmosphere, it's awesome. And you and Amy are great. I told you guys I'd follow you anywhere.
Well, thank you. I consider you my brother. I love you, and I look forward to many more of these together.
Oh yeah, I always say hello to you on the ice. I don't always catch you, but I want you to know I'm near you. I won't say what I say to him on the camera.
Well, go have fun, and thank you for playing, and condolences to the Strell family.
Hey, thank you, and love you, brother.
Love you, brother.